Hello, everybody, and welcome to Potato Shop Podcast right here on YouTube. And we came on tonight to talk about one thing. That was 5 days ago. ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, had its last show. I first should say, I'm Brian.
And I'm Iron Dutch Murdoch.
And we want to welcome you. So if you haven't already, please go and click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, like and share this video. But we just want to look at this last piece of, this was right when they were ending the show of ECW. They brought out all the beer. Now, just if you remember, I think the night before this was they were in Salem, Virginia.
Okay.
And you were there. I was in the Navy.
Yes.
And they thought that was going to be the last show. Did they bring out beer for that show? Do you remember?
I don't recall them doing that. You know,
Right. The one thing I wanted to point out real quick, watch Sandman at the end.
Okay.
You can his body language. Look. I'll turn back up. Did you see how his body language, like, just see how he's just head down? But I just wanted to come on here real quick and talk about ECW.
Yeah.
They were such an impact. They were a ball of fire. What would it be? Lightning, real quick, and then they were gone.
Yes. Yes. And they, it's funny because they were quickly becoming a third. They were truly alternative to WWE and WCW. I will say I don't think the Extreme Wrestling style, I think it was very much like your niche. When you look at the music market, grunge came along, and you had your glam rock or hair metal or whatever you want to call it, and that bubble popped because grunge came along. Well, grunge did its thing for a few years, 4 or 5 years, and then you started seeing it move away, and I think the same thing with the Extreme Wrestling. I mean, obviously that was one, that's a very niche market, but two, I just don't see that being something that lasts forever just because it damages your talent so bad. And I mean, eventually, it's like it's like a cheaply made horror movie. At some point, you're not really. You're not calling yourself a sport. There's no skill involved in fucking getting hit over the head with a shovel.
Right. One thing that ECW did, and we've talked about, is they really pulled the curtain back. So they started to expose a lot of the magic and the magic tricks that was happening, how it was done. And because they really went through a period, remember, where Paul Heyman had to tell them all, like, you can't be doing all the kicking each other into below the belt because of you're getting everything else is getting done to you, and then you're kicking them below the belt and you're not selling it. So that was one bad thing about the ECW era. They did good things they changed the business, a business that was very stagnant.
Yes.
But at the same time, they harmed the business because they pulled the curtain back way too far.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then, again, like I said, some of your guys, your hardcore legends, these guys really didn't have wrestling. These were not guys that were good wrestlers. These were guys that, they had a cool. Take Sandman, for example. I always look at Sandman, probably one of the best entrances in pro wrestling. I don't want to say he's top 5. I mean, but he had a really cool entrance. You know what I'm saying?
It was awesome.
It was an awesome entrance. But at the end of the day, the guy was nothing but a fucking glorified jobber.
Right.
That's all he was. He was a guy that could get in there, man, and take an ass whipping. That's how he made his name.
Yeah.
And so, you look at that stuff, man, and you think, gosh, what are they going to do? But now, one of the things ECW, and I mean, not to focus on negative stuff here, one of the strengths of ECW was Paul Heyman could bring a guy in like Justin Credible, for example. WWE wasn't doing jack with him, had him in a crap gimmick. He brings him down there, man, repackages him, puts him in a dynamite gimmick, has this guy over. Same thing with Al Snow. Al Snow, they were doing crap with him up in WWE. He comes down there to ECW, man, gets repackaged, puts him on the storyline. Of course, now Al Snow and Justin Credible both are very talented wrestlers.
Yeah.
But, he repackaged him, puts him with that mannequin, and I mean, man, he let him go, and that thing was over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Paul Heyman was putting some of these cats in really good. It's like he could take whoever the WCW or WWE couldn't find a gimmick for or couldn't do them right. Give them Paul Heyman, because I guarantee you he can get them over. He'll put them in he'll repackage them. He'll make them cool. And then next thing you know, it's like Al Snow. WWE wants to snatch him back up.
Right.
We need him back now. And of course, what they do with the gimmick, they drop it because he came in hot with it.
Oh yeah.
And they dropped the ball with it, But again, ECW was very innovative in that aspect. A lot of top. You had your Jerry Lynn's, your Rob Van Dam's, Taz, Sabu. I mean, there's a lot of people. Shane Douglas, Triple Threat.
He would take people who had ran their course like a Terry Funk, and then he would.
Steve Corino. I remember when Steve Corino and Dusty Rhodes had their match in ECW.
Yeah, Dusty Rhodes was.
Boy, that was fantastic. And that crowd was hot for Dusty Rhodes, man.
Absolutely.
They were. I mean, it was all, but they were for Terry Funk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he knew. Paul Heyman knew how to evoke heat and how to get people fired up and get you ready and stuff.
And do you remember when Jerry Lawler came up for a surprise, and then Jim Cornette showed up?
Yes.
One time now, I know Jim Cornette said it on multiple occasions about how he didn't want to be there, and he went over there and he got screwed over, and whatever the case might be. But if you remember, what a hot night that was.
Yes. Yeah.
So in turn, Paul Heyman could turn things into something special.
I think the thing that always sticks with me is when you watch the WWE, the ECW video that they did, Rhino talks about it, and I think this is very true. ECW was continuing to grow in popularity. ECW was packing, they were bringing people to the arenas to see them, but yet they went out of business. And it's just like, what was it he said? That he'd never seen a place where they sell out every night and then they can't pay their checks or can't pay their bills or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things where, hindsight being 2020, I wish there would have been somebody on the financial side working with Paul Heyman.
It was
that could have ran the business side. Let Paul be the mad genius that makes ECW what it is, because he did a lot of great things with it.
But it was very similar to Jim Crockett Promotions, and they were the exact same thing. They were dynamite booking. They could get people over. They had the heat going crazy, people going crazy.
Yes.
But because of piss poor management.
Well, and the other thing about it that they had was nobody chanted WWF, WWE. Nobody chanted that.
Right.
Nobody chanted WCW. But that place would chant ECW, ECW. And so, I mean, they're not chanting for just a particular wrestler. They're chanting for the company.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that held. I mean, even to when WWE absorbed them and tried to run, the crowd would chant ECW. you can't buy that kind of heat.
No, he got his brand over. Paul Heyman got that brand over.
Right.
More as much as he got the wrestlers over.
That's right.
And it's sad today to see the state of wrestling because back, we were just talking last night how wrestling or how AEW, yeah, they're probably growing. There's probably other analytics for us to look at, but we're not. But if you look at just TV based ratings, they're nowhere even close to what ECW, WCW, and WWF / WWE at that time was doing.
Right.
And boy, I would love to go back somewhat to have where I want to watch wrestling. Like I've got to go see from start to finish.
Sure. Yeah. It's hard to imagine. Back in the day, man, that, we were buying 3 pay-per-views a month.
Yeah.
WWE, WCW, and the ECW.
And you won't see that happening anymore. But
it was good while it lasted.
It was. It was like it was Haley's Comet. It flew by, and that was it.
That's right.
And they'll be back, I guess, someday, one day, maybe, hopefully. But that's about it. We just wanted to reminisce about ECW since just a few days ago it was their last show ever. And I thought it was kind of cool seeing that video right there. But if you don't mind, leave us a comment about your favorite ECW moment. And while you're down there typing, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter at Potato Shot PC, Instagram at Potato Shot Podcast. And, you can listen to our podcast. It comes out weekly. So until next time, I'm Brian.
And I'm Iron Dutch Murdoch.
See you later.